In a world full of distractions, most people chase everything, yet achieve nothing. But there's something the rare 1% understand, a principle that transforms effort into mastery. This teaching comes from Shaolin master Shi Heng Yi, who reminds us that true strength doesn't come from doing more, but from doing less, with awareness. Today, we'll uncover the one thing only 1% of people do. Most people believe that success is about doing more effort, more ambition, more struggle. But doing more without understanding a why only leads to confusion. You can run all day and still not move an inch closer to truth if your actions have no awareness behind them. What separates those who live consciously from those who live mechanically is not how much they do, but the equality of their attention in what they do. The difference is awareness. Awareness means to see, to truly see what is happening inside before reacting to what is happening outside. It sounds simple, but it requires immense discipline. Most people live in reaction. Something happens and immediately emotion takes over. A word triggers anger, a memory awakens fear, a desire clouds judgment. There is no pause, no observation, no space between the event and the reaction. But in that small space lies freedom, the freedom to choose, to act consciously, to live deliberately. Without awareness, life becomes a chain of automatic responses, habit upon habit, thought upon thought. We do not act, we are acted through. Awareness breaks that chain. When you begin to watch yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your impulses, you start to see patterns. You start to recognize that the same thoughts return again and again, wearing different faces but bringing the same suffering. You begin to notice how a single thought can become a wave of emotion if you follow it unconsciously. And in that noticing, something profound happens. You realize you are not the wave, you are the ocean beneath it. The emotion rises and falls, but the awareness remains. The moment you see this, you are no longer lost in the storm of your own mind. You have found the stillness behind it. That is the beginning of mastery, not mastery over others, but mastery over yourself. To live with awareness does not mean to withdraw from life. It means to enter life fully, but with your eyes open. To be aware while walking, aware while speaking, aware even while breathing. This awareness refines everything. Your words become fewer but more precise. Your actions become simpler but more powerful. You begin to waste less energy on things that have no meaning, and you start to act from a place of clarity rather than confusion. Awareness is a discipline of the mind. It requires constant returning to this moment, to this breath, to this step. It is not about thinking more, it is about seeing more clearly. When you become aware, you begin to notice the small movements of the mind, the subtle judgments, the hidden fears, the quiet pride. You see how your inner world shapes the outer one. And once you see it, you can no longer live unconsciously. Awareness demands honesty. It demands presence. Psychologically, awareness is transformation. The moment you see a thought as just a thought, it loses its power to control you. The moment you see anger as energy moving through you, it no longer defines you. You stop being a slave to every impulse, and you begin to act from a deeper intelligence. That is the essence of self-mastery, to live awake. Awareness does not arrive suddenly. It grows slowly through attention and humility. Every day is a new opportunity to return to it. You may forget 100 times, but the moment you remember, you begin again. That is the practice. That is the way. So the question is not how much you can do, but how awake you can be while doing it. Every moment offers you a choice to react or to observe, to be lost or to be present. Choose awareness, because in awareness, everything else falls into place. And remember this, the most powerful change begins not when you move, but when you will see. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as a restriction, as something that limits their freedom or takes away their comfort. But in truth, discipline is the very thing that creates freedom. Without it, the mind becomes chaotic, the body lazy, and the spirit restless. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about structure, the framework that allows growth to happen. When you have structure, you can move with direction. When you lack it, even your greatest potential dissolves into disorder. Most people live according to feeling. When they feel motivated, they act. When they don't, they stop. But feelings are temporary. They rise and fall like the tide, and if you depend on them, you will spend your life drifting. Discipline, on the other hand, is like an anchor. It holds you steady through the waves of emotion. It doesn't ask how you feel, it simply asks you to show up. And in showing up day after day, something begins to transform inside you. You start to see that consistency builds strength far beyond enthusiasm. Discipline trains not only the body, but also the mind. When you practice it, you learn to delay gratification, to do what needs to be done instead of what is easy. This creates inner order. The mind becomes less reactive, less scattered. You start to trust yourself. That trust is powerful. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that you can rely on your own commitment. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you strengthen that trust. Every time you break it, you weaken it. And in the long run, your life becomes a reflection of how many times you kept that promise. True discipline is not rigid or harsh. It has strength but also flexibility. It's not about forcing yourself, it's about aligning yourself. When your actions are aligned with your values, discipline becomes natural. You don't have to fight with yourself anymore. You simply live in accordance with what matters most to you. But to reach that alignment, you must first know what you stand for. You must define your priorities, what you are willing to sacrifice for, and what you are not. Without that clarity, discipline becomes mechanical. With it, discipline becomes purpose in motion. There is a deep psychological truth hidden inside this. The mind finds peace when it has order. Chaos, uncertainty, and indecision create anxiety because the mind does not know where to rest. Discipline gives it a place to rest. It provides stability. When you wake up at the same time, when you train your body, when you meditate, when you follow through, these actions may seem repetitive, but repetition is what refines you. Every disciplined act becomes a reminder that you are not ruled by your impulses. You are the master of them. Philosophically, discipline is the art of balance. The balance between effort and surrender, between doing and being. It is not enough to act endlessly without awareness, nor is it enough to be aware without acting. Discipline bridges the two. It allows awareness to manifest in action. Without discipline, awareness remains only a concept. With discipline, it becomes embodied wisdom. The movements of the body, the choices of the day, the stillness of the mind, all become expressions of the same conscious intention. And yet, discipline will test you. It will confront your comfort, challenge your excuses, and reveal your resistance. But that is precisely the point. The purpose of discipline is not to make life easy. It is to make you stronger than the challenges you face. Every moment you choose discipline over indulgence, awareness over impulse, you reclaim power over your life. That quiet victory, repeated 1,000 times, becomes unshakable strength. Discipline is the invisible thread that holds mastery together. It is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. Without it, wisdom remains theory. With it, wisdom becomes life. So when you wake tomorrow and feel the pull of comfort calling you back to sleep, remember this. Freedom does not come from avoiding effort. Freedom comes from doing what must be done, with full awareness, with intention, with heart. In discipline lies the doorway to true liberation. Letting go is one of the simplest ideas to understand. yet one of the hardest to live. The mind is built to hold on, to beliefs, to emotions, to identities, to the past. It clings to what is familiar, even when that familiarity causes pain. This is why most people stay trapped in cycles they secretly wish to escape. They want change, but they also want to keep everything that prevents change from happening. Real growth begins only when you learn the art of release, the willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. Letting go is not an act of weakness, it's an act of immense strength. To let go means to face truth without resistance. It means to look at your attachments, your opinions, your desires, your expectations, and to realize that none of them are truly you. They are temporary conditions of the mind, like clouds passing through an open sky. When you identify with them, you suffer. When you observe them and allow them to move on, you discover peace. The human mind holds on because it fears uncertainty. It believes that by clinging it can control life, but control is an illusion. Life is movement. It flows, it changes, it evolves. When you try to hold on to what is meant to move, you create tension. When you resist what is already changing, you create suffering. Think of a river. If you try to grasp the water, it slips through your fingers. But if you open your hand, you feel its flow. The same is true with life. You cannot grasp it, but you can move with it. Letting go is not the same as giving up. It is not indifference, nor apathy. It is a form of deep intelligence. The understanding that holding on to certain emotions, people, or outcomes only weighs you down. Sometimes we hold on to anger because it makes us feel powerful. Sometimes we hold on to sadness because it makes us feel connected to what we lost. Sometimes we hold on to our stories because they define who we think we are. But if you truly look, you will see that all holding is suffering disguised as comfort. When you begin to practice letting go, you might feel discomfort. The mind will resist. It will tell you that you're losing something important. But in truth, what you lose are only the illusions, the layers that cover your clarity. Letting go is not about losing, it's about making space. You release what is false so that what is real can enter. You drop the noise so that silence can speak. You stop chasing what you think you need, and you discover that you already have what matters most: awareness, presence, peace. Psychologically, letting go is the process of freeing attention. Every attachment consumes energy. Every resentment you hold, every regret you revisit, every expectation you cling to drains the mind. When you let go, that energy returns to you. Suddenly you feel lighter, clearer, more alive. The body relaxes, the breath deepens, and the mind becomes still. This is not philosophy, it's direct experience. The less you carry, the freer you move. Philosophically, letting go is the recognition that nothing is truly permanent. Not the past, not your successes, not your failures, not even your identity. Everything is in motion. The only thing that endures is awareness itself, the silent witness that observes all change. When you understand this, you stop trying to freeze life into something fixed. You stop clinging to certainty. You begin to trust impermanence. That trust is liberation. Letting go does not mean forgetting what you have learned or turning away from responsibility. It means learning to act without attachment to the outcome. You give your best to each moment, and then you release it. You do not carry yesterday's failures or tomorrow's fears into today's actions. You move with grace, grounded yet unattached. This is the essence of inner freedom. The practice of letting go is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong discipline. Every day offers you something to release, a thought, a judgment, a fear. Each time you choose to let go, you strengthen your awareness and weaken your attachments. Slowly, the mind learns that peace is not found through control but through surrender. And so, the question is not what you are holding on to, but why. What belief, emotion, or memory do you refuse to release? And what would happen if you did? Letting go does not take time, it takes courage. And once you dare to release what no longer serves you, you will discover something far more powerful than control. The effortless freedom of simply being. Most people spend their lives either chasing the future or reliving the past. Their minds are rarely where their bodies are. They wake up in the morning, but their thoughts are already at the end of the day. They sit with someone, but their attention is on something else. In this constant movement of the mind, life itself is missed. The only place where life truly happens is here, in this very moment, yet it is the one place most people never visit. To live in the present moment is to reclaim your energy from the chaos of time. The past is gone, it can no longer be changed. The future has not yet arrived, it exists only as imagination. The present is all that is real, all that you ever truly have. But to live in the present requires training, because the mind resists stillness. It finds comfort in distraction, in constant motion. It wants to analyze, plan, and replay endlessly. The mind believes it can control life by thinking about it, but in doing so, it separates itself from life. When you are present, something shifts. The noise of thought begins to fade, and a quiet awareness takes its place. You start to notice the details that usually pass unseen, the rhythm of your breathing, the sensations in your body, the subtle expressions in another's face. Awareness deepens, and with it comes a sense of calm. The body relaxes, the mind softens, and for a moment everything feels whole. That feeling is not created by the external world. It arises naturally when you return to the present. Presence is not a passive state. It does not mean doing nothing or escaping from responsibility. It means doing whatever you do with full attention. When you walk, you walk. When you eat, you eat. When you speak, you are aware of your words. It is a complete engagement with life. The quality of your attention transforms even the simplest act into meditation. A single step taken in full awareness has more meaning than 1,000 steps taken unconsciously. The modern world makes presence difficult. It constantly pulls your attention outward. Notifications, news, comparisons, endless noise. The more connected we become externally, the more disconnected we often become internally. The mind grows restless, fragmented, and exhausted. That is why cultivating presence is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is how you protect your inner space from being consumed by distraction. The ability to be still in a world that never stops moving is not weakness, it is mastery. Psychologically, presence dissolves anxiety and regret because both exist only in time. Anxiety is fear of the future. Regret is attachment to the past. The moment you return to the now, neither can exist. The mind quiets and a natural intelligence begins to operate. A clarity that doesn't come from thinking but from seeing. From this clarity, decisions become easier, actions become cleaner, and relationships become more authentic. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it consciously. Philosophically, the present moment is the meeting point of life itself. It is the doorway to awareness, to understanding, to truth. Everything that ever happened and everything that will happen only occurs in this single moment, now. When you grasp that deeply, you realize that searching for happiness somewhere else or some other time is an illusion. Fulfillment is not a destination you arrive at, it is the quality of attention you bring to this moment. Presence cannot be forced. It grows naturally through awareness. You begin by noticing when you are lost in thought, and each time you notice, you return, again and again. That returning is the practice. Gradually, moments of presence become longer, deeper, more effortless. What once felt like discipline becomes your natural way of being. There is a quiet power in this way of living. When you are truly present, you stop fighting life. You stop resisting what is, and in that acceptance, you find strength. You no longer rush through the moment hoping to get somewhere else. You understand that athissa, whatever it is where your life is unfolding. So take a breath, feel it move through you, let the noise of the past and the worries of the future fall away, even for a second. In that stillness you will discover the essence of freedom. Because life is not waiting for you somewhere else. It is happening right here, right now. And the ones who realize this live fully. Most people live in pursuit of recognition. They want to be seen, validated, praised. They measure their worth by how others respond to them. The applause, the attention, the approval. But what happens when those things disappear? What happens when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one notices the effort? If your motivation depends on recognition, your strength will always be fragile. The true path, the one walked by the few, is not the pursuit of recognition. It is the pursuit of mastery. Mastery is different. It is quiet, inward, patient. It doesn't seek attention. It seeks depth. The one who walks the path of mastery is not concerned with how far others have gone or who is watching their progress. Their only focus is the next step, the next refinement of mind, body, and spirit. They understand that growth is not a performance, it's a practice. To seek mastery means to shift your motivation from a proving gay to a improving gay. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth, you free your energy to truly grow. Because as long as you are performing for others, you are wearing a mask. You begin to act not from truth, but from image. You do what gains approval, not what brings you closer to understanding. This is why so many feel lost even after achieving success, because they climb the mountain of recognition only to find it empty at the top. Mastery requires humility. It requires the courage to be a beginner, over and over again. No matter how much you know, there is always more to learn. The moment you think you have arrived, you stop evolving. Mastery is not a destination, it is a relationship, a lifelong conversation between you and your craft, between you and yourself. It is built in the moments when no one is watching, when effort goes unnoticed, when results are uncertain. That is where the real work happens, and that is where character is formed. Psychologically, the pursuit of mastery is an antidote to ego. Ego seeks validation while mastery seeks understanding. Ego compares while mastery observes. Ego rushes to be seen while mastery is content to be unseen, because it knows that true recognition is internal. When you are devoted to the process, external rewards become secondary. The satisfaction comes not from applause, but from alignment. The feeling of living in accordance with your purpose, refining yourself through every repetition, every challenge, every quiet success. Philosophically, mastery is a dialogue between awareness and effort. Awareness allows you to see where you are. Effort moves you toward what you can become. Without awareness, effort is wasted. Without effort, awareness is useless. The integration of the two creates progress that is real and lasting. The one who seeks mastery does not chase perfection, but embraces refinement. They understand that each mistake is a mirror, each obstacle a teacher, and this mindset changes everything. When you are no longer fixated on outcomes, you can give your full attention to the present action. You stop rushing to arrive somewhere and begin to immerse yourself in the practice itself. Whether you are training, learning, or meditating, your focus becomes pure. You are not doing it for approval. You are doing it because it aligns with who you are becoming. This is the quiet joy of mastery. To find fulfillment not in the result, but in the process. In the modern world, where everything moves fast and everyone seeks to be seen, the path of mastery may seem slow and invisible. But invisibility is its strength. It protects you from distraction. It allows your roots to grow deep even when no one notices. And when the time comes for your work to be seen, It carries the weight of authenticity, something that cannot be faked or rushed. So do not chase recognition. Recognition fades. Seek mastery instead, because mastery endures. Let your work speak quietly, not for validation but for truth. Remember, greatness is not what others see in you. It is what remains when the need to be seen disappears. Human beings are not divided into separate parts, yet most people live as if they are. The mind pulls in one direction, the body in another, and the spirit is often forgotten completely. This inner fragmentation is the source of much of our confusion and suffering. When the mind says one thing, the body feels another, and the spirit remains unheard, life becomes conflict. Harmony, balance, peace, these are not found by accident. They arise when mind, body, and spirit move as one. Integration begins with awareness. To integrate yourself means first to see where you are divided. When you say one thing but do another. When you know what is right but act against it. When your body is tired but your mind keeps pushing. These are signs of disconnection. The more divided you are inside, the more restless life feels outside. You can change environments, relationships, even goals, but until you are in harmony with yourself, nothing external will bring true peace. The mind is a powerful tool, but it can also become a cage. It plans, analyzes, and remembers, but without grounding in the body, it loses touch with reality. The body too carries its own wisdom. It knows when to rest, when to move, when something feels right or wrong. But if the mind ignores these signals, the body becomes tense, tired, and resistant. And then there is the spirit, the quiet essence that observes both mind and body. When the spirit is neglected, life loses meaning. You may achieve much, but something essential feels missing. Integration is the process of bringing these three forces into alignment. The mind provides clarity, the body provides strength, and the spirit provides purpose. When they work together, you move through life with a natural rhythm. Thought and action become one. Effort feels effortless. You no longer struggle against yourself because every part of you is moving in the same direction. Psychologically, this integration restores balance. Many people live entirely in their heads, disconnected from their physical sensations. Others are trapped in bodily habits, driven by impulses without reflection. Some escape into spiritual ideals, neglecting practical life. Integration does not reject any of these. It unites them. To think clearly, you must be grounded in the body. To act effectively, you must have clarity of mind. To find peace, you must live with awareness of spirit. Each dimension supports the others. Philosophically, this unity mirrors the natural order of life itself. Nature functions through balance, movement and stillness, growth and decay, effort and rest. When we align with that rhythm, we flow with life instead of resisting it. Meditation, training, breathwork, reflection, all are tools to restore that flow. The breath is a perfect example. It connects the inner and outer worlds, the physical and the subtle. Each inhale and exhale reminds you that life itself is a rhythm of integration. When the mind, body, and spirit are in harmony, your presence changes. You no longer move through life as a collection of fragmented parts, but as a unified force. Your actions carry weight because they come from wholeness. You speak with sincerity because there is no conflict between what you say and what you feel. Even in stillness, your energy speaks, calm, centered, aware. This unity is not achieved through effort alone. It is cultivated through practice. You return to it each day in small ways, through mindful movement, through conscious breathing, through moments of silence. Gradually, what once felt separate begins to merge. You become less reactive, more grounded, more alive. The inner noise softens, and in its place, a quiet strength emerges. Integration is not a destination, it is a way of living. a way of being whole in a world constantly tries to divide your attention. When you live in harmony with yourself, life itself becomes your practice. Every moment, every challenge, every breath becomes an opportunity to return to balance. So bring your awareness back into your body, into your breath, into this moment. Let your thoughts, your actions, and your being align again. Because the greatest power you can have is not control over others, but unity within yourself. When mind, body, and spirit move as one, life no longer feels like struggle. It becomes flow.